Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Silver. Our guest today is my friend Chris Vermeulen, Chief Market Strategist at thetechnicaltraders.com. Chris, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ivan. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a huge pleasure having you on. You know, gold and silver is going higher and higher. People are getting excited, and people on the internet are also asking, is this a fake out or a breakout? What's going on?
Yeah. If you let me share my screen here, I can share my charts and I'll show you kind of my take on it.
Yeah, share away. We'd love to see you get into these charts. Are you now the charts that you're about to share right now? What is this first one? This is gold futures.
So yeah, this is gold futures, which is more or less kind of like gold spot pricing. And if we take a look at this, we'll start off with gold. So we'll look at the big picture. Let me just zoom out to the monthly really quick here. And if we look at this big picture of gold, we got this all-time high back here, which is this blue line. And obviously this monthly candle looks terrible. It ran up, we had a breakout, and now it's getting sold into and slammed. This is not a good sign longer term. Typically, when we have this type of candle, usually you can see 2 or 3 more candles after this that are going to be red and lower. But there's definitely a unique setup forming in the precious metal space. So let's just dive into this breakout level, because I do feel like this breakout was more so like a shakeout, a fake out at this point. And the best way to view that is actually the 10-minute chart of gold, which if I just zoom out a little bit here, you can see this. I'll just draw this horizontal line. This was the breakout level for gold. And it had a big rally up earlier in the session. And then as soon as it hit that new breakout level, we just saw explosive parabolic move straight up. And to me, I think there's anybody who was short, betting short on gold going down, was getting their stops run. They're having to cover their shorts. So this was a short squeeze. I think there's also a whole camp of people who not only got out of their shorts, but then they're like, well, I want to get long gold because it's, hitting new all-time highs. Plus there's the average investor who probably has orders standing saying, hey, if we, get $1 or 15 cents above the all-time high, I got an order sitting there to buy some more physical gold for the next rally. So what we saw here to me is just a technical level. The market saw, I think, huge orders sitting up there. It triggered it. It spiked all the shorts got out literally at the worst possible time at the high. People just bought long thinking it's starting a new rally. And of course, huge volume is kicked in and it's getting dumped and sold into. So, it feels like it's a little bit of a shakeout at this point. There's definitely big sellers lurking out here, driving the price down. It is exciting to see gold, all of this price action. And here's the bullish case on it. So the bullish case is we broke into a bull market in 2019. We saw gold rally up. It's been consolidating for a couple of years. Well, I believe this scenario that we're in now is actually very similar to kind of the 2001 bottom.
Oh, really?
Gold worked its way up and then it went dormant for like a year and a half. And then as the stock market and the economy was coming to a grinding halt, things were topping out. This is the time when gold, silver, and miners start to perform. And they performed really well just before we went into a bear market and a financial reset. And then gold pulled back along with silver, miners. And then, of course, they were the first group of stocks and commodities to rally. And then we went into a multi-year rally. Well, I think we're in the same scenario. We can paint the picture here that gold could very easily, we're early in December. This was a technical shakeout. So this market could rally up very strong still by the end of the year. And we might see a few months of gold pushing up here, because I do feel like the economy is coming to a grinding halt. I think we're going to see a huge financial reset. And when those things happen, it naturally pulls pretty much every asset down with it. So I do think gold could come back down to this level, but it's going to be one of the first ones to bottom. And then I think we're going up for like 4 or 5 year rally. And it'll be the start of like the precious metal miners and silver back up to 50 or 80. Like I've been waiting for this forever. This market is dragging it out.
We've all been waiting with you.
I'm seeing it unfold, bar after bar, but every bar here is a month. So it's a bloody long time.
And adding on that, the geopolitical pressures of 2 major wars happening right now, when going into 2024 recession, and you keep hearing about like these regional banks collapsing and or the next one's coming up soon. And most importantly, Chris, I wanted to get you on to even talk about the Fed. What do you think the Fed will do next? The job numbers report came out today. What do you think they're going to stop raising rates? You think they're going to keep raising rates or lower them? What does that do to the precious metals that we're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I really don't follow the Fed at all. I don't know when the last time I watched them. The odd time I'll watch them just because peer pressure. I have so many members like, you got to watch the Fed. I'm like, I don't need to
Yeah.
watch the Fed.
Yeah, if you look at the fundamentals and the actual charting of gold and silver, you don't really need to look at interest rates or this and that. Eventually, it'll speak for itself for sure.
Yeah, I think people are so honed in on the daily whipsaws of every asset they own, and they watch
Right.
the news and the markets, and it's like analysis paralysis. There's bullish and bearish cases, and there's people expecting the Fed to say this, and the Fed says it or doesn't say it, and they have this like overreaction of like
Yeah.
people thinking like the rates were going to go down and it didn't happen, and they take. I just find people are just way too sensitive. They need to stop leaning on all this news and expecting it to do something. I think the Fed's probably going to hold rates
Yeah.
for as long as they can. They have 1.25 basis point bullets in their gun for when we go into a recession. They can keep firing them off to try and slow the selling and the panic across asset classes. Maybe they'll squeeze it up one more little bit. There is potential here that the stock market has a massive rally. We are on the cusp of a like 10 to 12% rally in the SP 500. It will be new all-time highs. It will be breaking news.
Really? Why do you think
Short
that?
of the market will have to cover. Anybody who's not long the stock market is going to have like the ultimate FOMO because they just missed out on a killer year in terms of rally phase. Market's hitting new all-time highs. They're not part of it. Everyone in the media is saying we're in a new tech, a new major bull market. So it's going to suck in all of those people. And then I think we're going to, the market could rally up and the Fed will be like, the market's on fire. We can raise the rates another notch. And then they raise it one more notch. And then we see huge institutions. I think there's a lot of smart money managers that are just waiting for their time to start selling. And that'll be like the last big, sucks the masses in, gets the shorts out. And we'll start seeing huge volume selling. That's the perfect scenario. If it can happen that way, it will be amazing. Yeah. And then the Fed will raise rates one more time, and everybody will say, "Oh, that last quarter basis point the Fed did killed the market." Meanwhile, I mean this has been set up and brewing forever. It hasn't really. I don't believe it has much to do with the Fed. A quarter basis point isn't going to break the camel's back here.
Right. So I just wanted to let everyone know about our new sponsor, Strategic Wealth Preservation. They are an international precious metals dealer, and they are a secured storage provider that have headquarters in the Cayman Islands. The company owns and operates a large Class 3 UL rated vault in the Grand Caymans, and they offer other strategic locations as part of its global storage network. They specialize in the acquisition, secure storage, and liquidation of precious metals for individuals, companies, trusts, and wealth management professionals on behalf of their clients. So if you guys want to check them out, the link is in the description below. We've seen a little look into gold. What do you see next with silver? I know we want to talk about silver.
Yeah, so silver, I mean, it's definitely pulling back here. It's more of the speculative play.
Yeah.
Gold is I got to go way back here. Let's go back to the monthly chart for silver. I mean, it's down 50% from the highs. As we know, silver can do these amazing spikes. It eventually will play catch up. So I'm not too worried about it not, performing really well. Gold is equivalent to trading, up here. Silver is put in this multi-year base and, it's launched up here. It's built a launch pad. And I think we just need to let it work itself out. Silver might rally up over the next couple of months if gold starts to rally, silver miners, the stock market. I think we could see them all move up together a little bit. Absolutely. I don't think it's the start of anything huge yet, but it could be a pretty decent run. We could see silver, potentially even get back up to this 30 range.
Yeah, that's where everyone wants to see it, of course.
Yeah. So I think we could see that. And then I think time will pass and we'll finally get into a recession, official recession, and things will change and it could pull back. And this could be like the next kind of consolidation level during a bear market and financial reset. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I think it's going to be off to the races. So they're all going to pretty much move together, but gold's holding its value because if you ask any average investor, an older investor, and you say, oh, if you can't buy stuff, if you already have a bunch of stocks and bonds, what else do you want to buy? A lot of them still say, I'll go buy some gold coins and silver coins. And
Right.
it's the first thing that comes to their mind. And not only that, but it's also a slow moving asset, which means they're comfortable to go put 5 or 10% of their portfolio into gold and
Right.
leave it there and not sweat bullets. It's not moving 15% a week or a day like other asset classes. So that's what naturally attracts gold. Is it's slower, it's safer, it's constantly being accumulated and kept, versus silver and miners are more so traded a little bit.
Mm.
And so that's why they don't perform quite the same. Just gold just keep getting accumulated, and it's being held. It's not really being sold off.
Right. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Now, I know we don't talk a lot about this, but other than silver and gold, what do you guys keep an eye on at the technical traders? Like, what do you guys look at other precious metals? Can you explain that for our audience?
Yeah, so we really focus on it. We focus just on ETFs.
Right.
We've got kind of a couple core services. Right now we're focusing on we're long the ARKW. We're growth stocks are on fire, so we're long like the ARK ETF here, which just keeps ripping to the upside. So we
Right.
like to look at leading sectors that are showing very strong strength, and then when the stock market gives a buy signal, we want to move into these high beta or kind of leverage plays on the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is like one type of play that we're in. The other one we're in right now is URA, which is the uranium, which it's had a pretty nice move. It's consolidating, but poised and ready. So
Wow.
the nice thing about trading, I call the strategy BAN. It stands for best asset now. So we're constantly looking for the best sector to get in when the stock market is in a bullish rising trend. We are long the blockchain ETF as well, which I don't have on this particular chart right now, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been on fire. We're long the indexes with
And
some
that's
leverage.
the blockchain. Is that like the services for the
Yeah, so that's
yeah.
companies that use blockchain. They're companies. It's not the actual Bitcoin or anything.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just
companies
this.
that provide blockchain services, I guess,
Yeah,
for
makes sense.
transactions.
Makes sense.
Um, so yeah, so we I mean, it jumps around. Like right now we're in like the craziest ETFs. We're in like fast moving uranium, the ARK ETFs. Other times, literally, we can be in like, the financial sector or
Are you guys
utilities or something boring.
are you guys in silver and gold?
No, not at the moment.
Not at the
We're
moment.
I mean, I cover that in something different. This strategy is for trading sectors and ETFs.
Okay, that makes
Gold
sense.
doesn't, we do trade gold miners, but we don't trade gold or silver just because they generally don't outperform these fast sectors. So even if
Mm.
they're doing well, they're still not really beating the best sectors, so they won't get to the top. So
So you guys just
commodity
focus on
trading is a
those
bit.
certain sectors that do the best for these certain type of strategies?
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
That
So
makes sense.
the other strategy we use is called CGS. It stands for the consistent growth strategy, and that's something like this here, like more or less. This is the Nasdaq, so it trades along the Nasdaq and the SP 500. It tells us when the trend is up, when we want to be out, when we want to be in, where to take targets. So
Mhm.
we try to play the indexes, we play the bond market, we play currencies. So we just kind of rotate through whatever asset is performing at any given time. So that's kind of how
Interesting.
we kind of rotate through the market. So we like to look at sectors, then we also look at the indexes and the overall sectors and trends. And of course, we've got, long-term investing signals, which is very important to understand as a trader. And a lot of people don't fully grasp this, is when we are in a bull market phase, this is when you want to own sectors and stocks
Right.
and be net long. But when we have a bearish phase, during this time, you don't want to be in the stock market. It's a falling tide. Most stocks go down. We're back into a bull market phase. And so you want to own stocks.
Mhm.
So understanding these major tides tells you what strategy to use. It also tells you what to expect. Is it going to be choppy and difficult? Like it's just about survival, keeping your capital, or are we in a growth phase where we should be growing our accounts, hitting new all-time highs, every
Interesting.
quarter or something? So understanding these time frames and going from bull and bear to like momentum cycles and all those things is pretty important. Yeah, one thing we didn't actually cover real quick, the precious metal miners, they're
Oh
actually
yeah.
coming to life on the daily chart. let me just show you, because there's an interesting setup unfolding on them. If we take a look at like GDX, I just want to show that the momentum is shifting and they are primed and ready for a move up. Now, gold kind of bottomed out in October and it had a rally. And
Right.
what's interesting is if we actually look at the seasonality chart of gold, typically we see gold rally up and it usually pulls back a little bit the first week of December. That's right where we are. Gold miners have done the same thing. They've had a nice run, a very strong impulse move. I'll show you in a second. And now they're pulling back. And it's very favorable going into the end of the year for precious metals right now. And if we take a look at gold miners, they've had a very nice run up. They're having their first pullback. And what's nice about this is you could argue there's kind of an inverse head and shoulders, but either way, there's kind of a pretty significant pivot line through here that the market has busted up through. This is a lot of resistance through here. It clearly broke through it, and now it's pulling back to the 50-day and this breakout level. So gold miners are primed and ready for a year-end push, which seasonality-wise typically happens. And so gold miners are looking good. If we look at the SILJ, the silver miners, I like this chart a lot also because it has broken a bunch of highs. It's broken these highs, these ones, this one, and this one. And my general rule is, if you have a very strong impulse rally that can break through two previous highs, like bust through resistance, two of them, then you've got a strong momentum in play. And we have just busted through like 4 levels, and we have the first pause and pullback, which is generally an opportunity. So we are going into the end of the year with these actually primed and ready to become a very strong sector and can post some pretty big gains. We could see SILJ potentially rally up to the 1150, maybe even 12 mark. So that's a little bit of a bullish sign that's just starting to unfold in the precious metal space that I think people look forward to because it is primed and ready for a nice pop here in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, we're super excited to see it all get done. And seriously, again, thank you so much, Chris, for coming down to Wall Street Silver. And we'd love to have you back in the future.
Yeah, no problem, Ivan. Take care. Appreciate it.
Take care.